Welcome to Trivial 10. My name is Jordan Halvorson. This week I have my lovely sister-in-law and my handsome brother. He's
Hello.
here. And they're here to discuss Fort Worth, Funky Town, where the West begins. And I'll let you guys introduce yourselves a little bit.
All right, I am Luke Halvorson, Jordan Halvorson's brother, and I already introduced my wife.
Yeah.
So, yes, I'm 38, and I am an electrician.
Do you like long walks on the beach?
Yeah, let's go through all that.
He likes long walks through the woods looking for like wild
That's right.
animals.
I like hunting, and I
Yes.
like fishing,
Yes.
and I like TV after work.
Don't we all? Awesome. What about you, Audrey?
Hi, my name is Audrey Halvorson. I'm married to this guy, and I don't know what do you want me to say? What,
Well, talk about the noises we might hear in the background.
Oh yeah, okay. So you might hear some odd sounds.
Yes.
That's her baby. Her name is Aria. She's a year and a half old, and she's super cute, and she just babbles all the time. So you will hear her.
Awesome. Yeah, she is a welcome guest, as
Yes.
you both are. So I know you guys brought some really cool facts. Me and Luke are from Fort Worth proper. You were
I was born in Plano.
Okay.
And then I lived in West Texas, and then in Central Texas, and then in Central New Jersey.
Yeah.
And so I finally moved
Culture
back.
shock.
Yeah.
We could do a whole episode. on
Yes,
this.
we could.
Yeah, so I finally moved back to this area in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And then we started dating, bought the house, got married, had the kid. It's been a whirlwind.
Yeah,
and-
waited about 5 minutes to have a kid.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
3 months.
We're so glad that she's here.
We love her.
Yeah.
We're super excited, but we're not going to talk about her the whole time. We're talking about Fort Worth.
We could. She's really
We're going
cute.
to stay on topic. We'll
Okay, excellent. So, all Texas natives here. We're going to talk Fort Worth. Awesome town. I think probably underrated. I think
Yes.
it's 15th largest, 14th largest in the United States. But if you look at like the crime statistics, and I don't know what y'all are going to talk about. Disclaimer, I have no idea what they're going to bring today. They may talk about that, they may not. But it's a beautiful town, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say about it.
I do have a couple of fun facts before we go through that. Me and Audrey, our theme for our wedding was in downtown Fort Worth, and what was our reception at?
Oh, it was at the Ashton Depot, which is an old Santa Fe railroad station.
Yeah,
That's now a catering event venue.
And I'm going to throw some photos of that in here so they can see it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And we got married at a church in downtown Fort Worth as
I'm
well.
going to talk about that one though.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a couple of fun facts. So.
Awesome. Cool. So let's get started with number one.
All right. Number one is the Palace Theater light bulb, and it began burning backstage. It began burning as a backstage light in the old Byers Opera House. It continues to burn today at the Stockyards Museum, known as the light bulb Methuselah. It is the world's second oldest continuously burning light bulb.
And when did it start?
It started on September 21st, 1908.
That's incredible.
Mhm.
I had no idea that
So
that was
old
there.
light bulbs
Yeah.
can not burn out. The first light bulbs weren't made to burn out.
Oh.
So they can burn forever, but
yeah.
now they make them to make money. So
Wow. That makes a lot of
It's a
sense, though.
conspiracy.
Yes,
It is.
absolutely.
Yes, I
That's
think
another episode, of course. Cool. And that's in the Stockyards?
yes,
That's awesome. I was just there a couple weekends ago. So it's the Stockyard Museum, did you say?
Palace Theater light bulb. It used to be the old Byers Opera House,
Uh-huh.
and
I'm going to put a picture of the light bulb so you can see what a real light bulb looks like.
yes,
And a non-government a light bulb looks like, and then give you an address so you can go visit it when you're here in Fort Worth. So
yeah.
Thank you.
It
Awesome.
says it's at the Palace Theater. So
no,
if you
that's
walk,
where it was.
Yeah.
No, now it's at the Stockyards Museum.
oh, Stockyards Museum.
we're going to go see it.
Yeah.
We're going to go see it. I didn't even know it was a thing. So
It is
awesome.
a thing.
Cool.
Okay, so I guess I'm next. I think I'm going to start with probably the most obvious one. I think everyone's heard of the Fort Worth Water Gardens. It's like an architectural marvel. It was designed by someone named Philip Johnson. I don't know who that is, but the internet said that's who designed them.
Quite a generic name.
It is, but he did some special things, including designing the water gardens,
Very cool.
which were dedicated in 1974. So they were pretty much brand new when they filmed that scene in Logan's Run.
Yeah.
So Logan's Run came out in 1976. And then it was, so that was filmed in 1975. And that's the scene where like the two people, was it like Logan and Jessica, I think they come out, they've escaped from their dystopian hellhole where everyone gets murdered at 30 or, I'm sorry if I get some of the details wrong. It's not even important to Fort Worth, but they come up out and it's like, there's a beach behind them and they're supposed to be near Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
So it's not supposed to be in Fort Worth, but it actually is in Fort Worth. And it's, I don't know, it's cool. You gotta show some pictures because I can't just talk about it and do it justice. And I know it's a special place for you.
Yes.
Because that's where you proposed to Robin.
And she said yes, more importantly.
Yes, that's the important part. And we had one of our early dates there.
Like our second date.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that either.
Yeah, and it's absolutely gorgeous. You know, I mean, there's the big one that looks like all the steps like going down into this like waterfall thing, and
which people have fallen into.
I would be so terrified.
To their peril.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there are steps and they look cool, but there's no handrail. So.
Nope. When I was a kid, you could go down there. I don't know if you can still go down there.
You can.
Yeah.
It's not roped off.
I've seen people down there, but I remember because we went to school in Fort Worth downtown, so we would go down there.
They'd let us go down there.
Yeah.
So
it was a different time, though. It was the
it was
late
the
80s, early 90s.
good old days where you could actually do things and actually
you could risk your life and
no
one will stop you.
For a good time. Yeah.
People get hurt sometimes. Yeah.
So.
They did so.
Yeah, but it's not just that. I mean, there's also. There's the part where you propose with the cypress trees or something. They're like the cool looking things with the knobby knees that stick up out of the ground, and there's like that very calm pool.
I'll put another picture in there.
Yes,
yeah.
And then there's the one with like the color changing lights and the little fountains and the spray that comes off it, which is so nice on a hot day.
Yeah,
we have a lot of those here.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. So anyway, it's gorgeous. It's like walking through, like it's like you're in a sculpture. So
it really is, and it's a living sculpture because of the water. And my favorite part was always, like, the features are neat, but the little canals that are running water all the way from the top over by the convention center, they're about like 6 inches wide and they're just full of water and they're constantly running down and they're sourcing a lot of the pools.
I never noticed
So
that.
it reminds me of aqueducts. Is what it reminds me
okay,
of.
I have to pay attention to that next time I go.
It's a really cool feature.
Okay. The third total.
Yes.
Perfect.
Is the Cowboy Hall of Fame, which is, I've got some details on it.
Sweet.
The Cowboy Hall of Fame, and there's actually 3, but there's the National Cowgirl Museum and the Museum and Hall of Fame, the Texas Cowboy Hall of Fame, and the Cattle Raisers Museum. And those are all located in downtown Fort Worth. And
cool.
If you're into cowboy stuff, it's a great place to go. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a friend, I'll just say her first name, Jen, and I think her dad was the curator of the Cowgirls Museum. So,
okay.
Yeah, pretty cool job.
My mom has been talking about that museum since before she moved down here.
Really?
Yeah, so
we haven't gone yet.
We haven't gone yet.
Okay, I'll put a picture of the museum so you can find it visually. And of course, I'll put the address for that so you know where to go find that as well.
Okay.
Okay, and the next one is number 4, Hilton Fort Worth. It's a historic building. The original hotel opened in 1921. It's located on Main Street. And it is the hotel where JFK spent his last night. So, as probably everyone knows, he was killed in 1963 in Dallas. But the day before, he gave an address at this hotel. I believe there's a picture I found online somewhere of him standing out in front of it. And you can see the arched windows, and it's very pretty, and they've done it up very nicely inside. We stayed there. Just
on our anniversary, we stayed there, and what was it used to be called? The Texas Hotel or something?
I don't know what it was called. It's owned by Hilton now.
Yeah. Yes, it's a Hilton now, and it's a very nice hotel. I enjoyed staying at it, and if you just want to get out for a night with your wife away from the house, it's a nice place to go. It's very historical.
And if you are into history / conspiracies, we also have pictures all over the walls of JFK. It's not like JFK in your face, but when you walk up to them, it's like, oh, here's a little historical blurb. So so it's interesting too.
If I remember correctly, there's actually a landmark right outside of the hotel also where he spoke publicly, if I remember.
That probably
like the morning before he left or something like that. And they had some, I think, big donor meeting at the hotel the night before. There's a documentary I was watching.
Okay, so then you know way more about this than I do.
No. Only recently too. It's a National Geographic. Shout out to National Geographic.
All
It's
right.
a new Kennedy one.
All right. Okay, this one's just if you've never been to Fort Worth, there are 2 cattle drives a day in Fort Worth, and
Where's it located?
this is in the stockyards.
Yeah.
Free twice-day cattle drive at 11:30 a.m. and at 4 p.m. each day. Texas cowhands drive a herd of Texas Longhorns down the Exchange Avenue. So, if you've never seen a cattle drive, there's 2 a day here.
Yeah, right.
And if you're kind of nervous about the idea of being around that many Longhorns, but you still want to see a Longhorn, you can actually sit on a Longhorn and have your picture taken.
Yes, I'm putting a picture right now of my oldest daughter sitting on one of those Longhorns. So
Oh, really?
you can see that. Yeah, I was going back through photos
Uh-huh.
recently, and there was one where we put Shiloh on top of one, and I was like, "Well, that's a real one."
You
That's
went. You went to the cattle
We
drive?
took them in 2016, so she was
Okay.
very small, and so we put her up on top because we had her family in from Chicago.
Okay.
So we were like, that's where all the cattle ended up, either Kansas City or Chicago at the
Yes.
stockyard.
Yeah.
So we're like, here's where, some of it, was beginning of the trail, But anyways, so it's a really cool experience. Is there it's like a dozen head, right? It's not
It's
a lot.
not a lot.
Yeah.
I know if
Yeah.
if they put that many on the road, it would
Yeah.
block up traffic for a long
It
time.
would, yeah. It's a scene, but it's really cool. And some of those racks on those cows,
Oh, yeah.
they're like 4, 5, 6 feet wide.
Mhm.
They're beautiful animals. I've been trying to talk to my wife Robin about getting some here. We've got a couple acres, and apparently you can't just get one. You gotta get 2, or they get lonely
Aw.
and destructive.
Really?
Yeah. So I was thinking.
I mean, I would.
Yeah, right. There's 4 acres here total, so why not just get a couple They also come in miniature.
Tiny.
They come in miniature. I will show a picture of a miniature Longhorn here.
Little
But anyways,
Longhorn.
go see not the Stampede. The what are they?
That cattle drive?
The cattle drive.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not a
It's very
Stampede.
tame.
Yes, very
Very
tame. And they've got cowboys up there on corralling
yeah,
them
just-
through.
I've never
Yeah,
seen
just
it.
a couple.
Yeah,
of,
it's a
they
cool
have
experience.
a couple of cow hands.
Yeah, it's
Texas
awesome.
cow hands.
Texas cow hands.
Not
Yeah.
just
They're
any.
authentic.
Yeah.
Not just any cow hand.
Yeah, absolutely. That's cool.
Okay, so the next one, I don't know what number we're on because I
This
haven't.
one's 6, I believe.
Thank you for
Yes.
remembering to count. I was good through 3 and then I.
If it's not, I'll
lost
edit it out.
it. Sounds
Nice.
good. Okay, so this one is not one particular location, but it's an aspect of downtown that I think warrants mentioning, and that is the Art Deco architecture of many of the buildings downtown. Fort Worth went through kind of a boom in the 20s and 30s. I mean, largely due to the oil industry, apparently the meat packing industry as well. And a lot of big buildings were built at that time. One in particular is the Texas and Pacific Railroad Station building, which was built in 1931. It is in the zigzag modern style of Art Deco. I didn't know
course
that
it
was a
is.
thing
I didn't either.
until I started looking this up.
Yeah.
And the outside is really interesting. It's very recognizable, like when you're on 30,
Oh, yeah.
and it's right there with those they're not turrets, but if you know what it looks like, you recognize it.
Absolutely.
And then the inside, the lobby, is just all Art Deco, just shiny, and it's very pretty. And I think people use it as an event venue. I think I was looking at that when we were trying to pick our
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're
our
right.
wedding reception, but
Yeah.
we ended up going with the other place. And then, of course, there are other buildings. There's the Sinclair building, which is now a boutique hotel.
Which we stayed at on our honeymoon.
You guys are legit, man.
The Sinclair, the Sinclair Oil
Yeah.
Company. They built this hotel, and it is very classy. And we stayed there on our wedding night.
It smells so good.
Yeah, it smelled good.
They spray
and
something. I don't
they
know.
had a
Okay.
shower. They had an automatic shower with lights in it and different water patterns. It's like an electric shower. You just push a button.
So
and,
super modern, but the outside still retains some of it art. It's
Yes.
Art Deco. Okay.
Yes.
and don't expect a free breakfast.
They don't-
I
they
did
don't do that.
because I spent about $380 to stay there.
Well,
But
you also
remembers.
disclaimer: we grew up in a family where we stayed at Hampton or La Quinta and always had our continental breakfast in the morning.
Yeah.
yeah,
So That's what we grew to expect.
If I spend close to $400, you better give me a free breakfast.
Maybe
you
a
know?
waffle?
Yeah,
Just a waffle.
A biscuit?
Yeah.
Anything.
Doesn't even
But-
have to be a hot biscuit.
No, I went down there. They didn't even have prices on the menu. Just letting you know. Just stay there. You're not getting nothing's free. Okay.
Thing in life is.
No.
They're charging you at Hampton for those waffles somewhere, though.
Somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
All right. One of Bonnie and Clyde's hideouts from the law was the historic Stockyards Hotel in Fort Worth. It is now one of the city's most haunted spots.
Ooh. In the stockyards.
Yes.
They stayed there.
The Stockyards Hotel. And
Stockyards
one
Hotel.
of their hideouts. Yeah,
Okay.
I did not know this either.
I'll put a picture of it. I think it's the one attached to H3. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. It's okay. I'll put up a picture of it. But there's a very old, like 2-story, 3-story hotel right next to H3 on Main. And I think, or is it Main and Exchange, somewhere right in there. But I'll put it on there. But it is an old hotel. It looks so cool. It looks like something like Matt Dillon would go into, or the Rifleman would go into,
yeah.
And go grab a drink.
Those are references my mother would know.
Okay, good. I'm glad I included those for her.
I can picture the place in my mind. It's the Stockyards Hotel, right?
Yeah, I believe that's the one.
It's really old and rustic.
Yeah,
So I believe that's it.
yeah. It's legit, man. Like a legit cowboy hotel,
Yeah.
and I can totally buy that they stayed there.
Yeah, I'd like to stay there now.
Seems
Just to
pretty
look
cool.
at it.
Yeah.
So that's my one.
Awesome.
Yeah, there are so many places in Fort Worth that are fun to go and fun to stay at. So I know it's a great place to live when you want to have a staycation. You want to go someplace, but you don't actually want to have to go someplace.
Right.
So that can be our next.
Yeah,
little trip.
I would love to go there.
Oh yeah, and there's so many great restaurants in the stockyards too.
Oh.
So many things. Music, you could go to Billy Bob's.
Mm-hmm.
It's right there.
There's,
If you wanted to. If you were so
I've been to Billy Bob's. It was great.
Absolutely.
I saw
Absolutely.
Jason Aldean there.
Yeah.
Very good.
That's
Yeah,
a
I know
place
who
where
that
he
is.
goes.
Yeah.
Okay, number 8 is the Riata Restaurant in downtown Fort Worth near Sundance Square. So I would consider the Riata a Fort Worth institution. It's
Yeah.
named for the ranch in the famous 1950s movie Giant with Elizabeth Taylor, I think, Rock Hudson, hope I'm not wrong
James
there,
Dean, yeah.
and James Dean.
Oh, cool. I didn't know any of that.
Really?
I
Yeah.
did not.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
And so that's not the first location. I think there's one in Alpine, Texas, and then the first one in Fort Worth was actually up in a taller building that was damaged by a tornado. But the current location it's so cool. It's so fun. Like you walk in and it's just, movie memorabilia and just all the Texas stuff everywhere. And there are lots of different little rooms, and every room has a different theme. Like we had our rehearsal dinner in the Justin Boots room.
Yes.
I remember that.
And then there's another room, I think it's in the basement, and it's actually, memorial's not the right word, but it basically is done up to be like the old restaurant that was destroyed. So they're fake windows, so it's like you're looking out the windows of this big building, but you're actually underground. And then there's kind of like a solarium on the roof, and there's a rooftop bar, and it's just every time you go, you can sit someplace different and have a different experience. But I mean, the food is so good. I mean, with the beef tenderloin.
Oh yeah, we go there pretty often, and we had our rehearsal dinner there, and it was so great. And every time we have a special occasion, that's one of our places we pick to go, and I really love it. And they said they're moving out of Sundance Square.
I hope
Their
not.
lease is ending, but maybe they fixed that or made another
I
deal
hope so.
because they shouldn't move.
Let's protest that
We
right
should,
here
We
publicly.
should do that. It's
Don't
You
yeah.
should
move.
stay there. And here's the
Stay,
other
please.
reason: is there's so much to do before and after, right there in Sundance Square. It makes
Yes.
so much sense to be there.
It needs to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, and to your point, it was at the Bank One Tower before the tornadoes
Okay.
in 1999 that
Okay.
blew out all the windows, and that's when they moved.
Okay.
Because I remember that tornado, because it landed in Fort Worth, and then it jumped over to Arlington, where I was cleaning a building, and we hid it in the warehouse.
Ooh.
So yeah, that was fun.
Wow.
Yeah, that was not fun.
No.
But anyways, yeah. So we hope Riata stays. Yes, and of course, if you want to hear further about our engagement story, we did go there to eat, but you'll have to listen to Home Sweet Halvorson if you want to hear that story.
It's a hoot. You should tune in.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous what happened to me there, but I'm not going to go on about
No.
that. We're going to keep going.
That's a story for another time.
Yes, it is. Number 9. I will move us on.
Okay. The biggest, let me get in there. The biggest private Civil War collection is in the Texas Civil War Museum in Fort Worth. It is also the most comprehensive collection west of the Mississippi River.
Wow.
So if you're into Civil War stuff, this is the place to go because it is the biggest collection. So that's also in Fort Worth.
That's on the West Loop, isn't it?
I believe so.
I think it's way over there on the west side. I have seen it so many times when I was driving around for work, and I was like, is that legit?
I've never been there.
That would be cool to check out, especially knowing what I know now about what they have.
Yeah, it's the biggest collection, they say. I had no idea.
That's
so
really
I
cool.
thought that was a fun fact. Living here this whole time, I never knew about that.
Yeah.
Now we're on number 10. And
This is it.
This is it. This is
We
the big
made
one.
it.
Well,
Yeah,
made it
this
to the
is
end.
one.
So this number 10 is Broadway Baptist Church. It is a Gothic revival building. The current church was built in 1952. There have been churches on that site since when? The first was built in 1886. One version was destroyed by a fire in 1909. I think it was a big fire, the Southside Fire. That
Every city has that history.
Well, that was Fort Worth's big fire, I guess.
Yeah.
And then, well, okay, so first of all, it's absolutely gorgeous. And the steeple, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's you have to see it. You got to get a picture.
Yeah,
you can see it when you're driving by on the highway, and that was one of the things that you wanted, because we were looking at these venues that were all inclusive, and I thought, oh, maybe this will be a good deal financially. And you were like, these places, they have no soul. It's just a building.
Yes.
Wow.
So we started looking at churches, and it ended up being in our price range. Yeah. And now when we drive by, when baby gets a little older, we can say, hey, look, there's the steeple of the church where mommy and daddy got married.
Really cool. You can always point to it.
Exactly.
You can always remember.
That was one of my things. I could see it from the highway, and I was like, we need to look at that church.
Yeah.
And it turned out it was one of the churches that we had already seen pictures of, and we wanted to go in. I just didn't know it was one in the same building.
Yeah.
So once I went inside, I was like, that's it.
Wow.
This is the one.
It was a really beautiful venue also.
And
they had an organ.
That's the next one.
Oh yeah.
In 1996, the pipe organ was added, and I believe it is still the largest pipe organ in the state of Texas. And it's grand and fabulous. And I mean, walking down that aisle and walking back, I mean, I felt married.
Yeah.
Because of
it was official.
It was. Yeah. So
it felt real.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
So that was.
Y'all had to bring somebody in for that, right? Or did they have someone at the church?
They had an organist.
They did? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so we just...
I thought y'all had to bring in a ringer.
No.
Like there's only a few people in Texas that know how to play this one?
No, they had somebody, and so we just paid her, and she came, and they only allow religious music. So, we didn't have the...
We didn't have the normal...
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
We only used...
that's considered secular.
Christian,
yes.
Yeah, based music.
Okay.
And that made it more unique. I mean, it made it a great wedding.
I didn't
really
know
liked
that. That's cool.
Yeah.
And the organist was fabulous. She actually learned my favorite Brandenburg concerto for organ and played it, and it was just... Anyway, I'm a nerd, but I was an orchestra dork in high school. So yeah, it was gorgeous. And I mean, just go by the church. Just look at it. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Can't miss it.
Very pretty place. Absolutely.
I also have one more fun fact.
We got a bonus here, folks.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought everybody should know how the city of Fort Worth began.
Oh.
So,
nice.
The city of Fort Worth began as Camp Worth on the bank of the Trinity River in 1849. Camp Worth was named for Mexican-American war hero General William Jenkins Worth.
Nice. Very cool. And if I remember correctly, he actually never made it to Fort Worth. I think he died because people did that randomly back then.
Yes.
People died very
happened.
quickly.
With dum-dum fever or hay fever or something got him before he got there. But it was named in honor of him, if I remember correctly. If I'm wrong, deal with it.
It was named for him, so maybe he never made it. I also have another one.
Oh, bonus too!
Fort Worth contains over 1,000 natural gas wells. This is due to the Barnett Shale, an underground reserve that contains 55 trillion cubic feet of natural gas and stretches across 15 counties.
Dang, that is... I can't even like comprehend what that is. Or-
Yeah, I know. It's a lot of natural gas.
So
Yes.
That's like 1 cubic foot. So just multiply that by 55 trillion. You've
Okay,
got
let me
it.
do that in my head
There
here.
we go. Yeah.
Now I got it. Awesome. Very cool. Well, if you don't have a third bonus,
I do.
you do!
I have 2 more.
Okay, come on, bring 'em.
All right. USS Fort Worth is the first ship of the United States Navy named after the city.
Okay,
It
cool.
was commissioned in 2012 and recently saved from decommissioning, so it's still out there.
Wow, it's only been out there
Yeah,
12
like,
years?
Yeah,
Wow.
I thought they last a lot longer.
You
I
would
don't know.
think.
I don't know why.
Well, they build ships like they build light bulbs now, apparently.
Right,
They
they
don't
don't
replace
last
them every
as long.
decade. Yes.
It's all
Okay.
part of the conspiracy.
It is,
Ah, yeah.
which will be, I guess, another podcast.
Yeah.
The conspiracy.
And then there's one more. It's about Texas pink granite was used to build the Tarrant County Courthouse in 1895. It was modeled after the Texas State Capitol, with the exception of the clock tower.
Nice. Okay, cool.
It
That is a very pretty building also.
It is. It's gorgeous.
It's
And
fair.
the Texas State Capitol building is absolutely gorgeous.
Mhm.
Yes.
I think it's probably the prettiest state capitol building.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm biased, but at
100%.
the same time, I also think it is the prettiest. So
Absolutely. And I think it's actually, is it 10 feet or something? It's a little bit higher than the U.S. Capitol building.
Yes,
Just
I
to rub
remember.
it in their
Yeah.
faces.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I like that.
that's
Take
what
that.
we do here.
Take that, Capitol.
swamp. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have our own power grid.
Yes.
That is true.
For what it's
There's
worth.
one for the East, one for the West, and one for Texas.
Really?
Yeah.
I
that
did
was
not know that.
Developed during World War II. But this is like fact
I
16.
was gonna say, wait, that's a
Okay.
little old. Like maybe
We have a lot of facts.
brush that
Yeah.
out. Anyway,
Yeah. So, anyways, thank you guys for joining me. I look forward to having you again.
well, thank you for having us.
Oh, you are so welcome, and thank you, Aria, for the added sound effects.
Background
Oh,
noise.
Yes,
And my phone going off.
and your
Sorry
phone.
about that.
Hey, that's
Yeah.
just life, man.
It
As a
happens.
parent,
Yeah.
it does happen. Awesome. All right, well, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and join us next time for Trivial 10.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.